Hello guys, and welcome to this very last Realtime Inktober video. I've been meaning to have this up a lot sooner. I thought I had finished it and got it up. I guess I kind of got lost in all the various things I've been doing. I realised that I never actually recorded a voiceover for it, so I never uploaded it. So apologies for the delay in that. Obviously this is the last drawing in the sketchbook, day 31. And it is the house that was abducted by aliens and is now floating in space, haunted by infinity. So I had so much fun doing this one. I love just playing with ink, and just ink in water, the way it spreads was just so much fun. And also using the white ink as well, the ink that I used, I used the Daler Rowney black ink that I've been using the whole time, and also the Winsor & Newton white calligraphy ink for the white details. I also, I think that was it. And then obviously this pen, which has lasted me quite well because I've been through a couple of these. These are the Faber-Castell pens, and they're great. I love them, but they last quite well, but they're the only pens that I've had that really I'm very used to replacing, because I guess I use them a lot, but the nibs kind of get dull, or like the finer points end up being a lot thicker. Just a few different problems with the nibs on these, but they're so affordable, and this one lasted really well. So I think they're worth it. I think they're a good set of pens to have. They come in like different nib sizes, so I think the one that I'm using now is the small, but they have like a medium one and like just a few thicker ones, and then they have a brush pen and like a rigid brush and a chisel tip pen as well. So quite a few different ones. They also come in loads of different colours. They have like a sepia set, a grayscale set. It's really funny because the other day I was just going through, I'm like reorganizing my room at the moment, and I was going through some drawers and I found the set of grayscale pens that I had actually bought especially for Inktober, and this was like probably day 30 that I found these, and remembered that I had got them to use for my Inktober drawings and had just completely forgotten to use them, had them in a drawer the whole time. But I'm actually pretty happy that I didn't use them. I'm really happy with all the stuff that I've been doing with ink. I think using ink across this month has really, I don't know, it's been a really nice, fun, experimental time, and I tried loads of things that I wouldn't have normally tried. I got a lot more adventurous as the month went on, so with things like the dragon one with the one stroke, this one as well, just kind of letting loose, not having a real plan with how I was going to do that sort of galaxy effect, and just seeing how it would go. Just all sorts really of like fun experimental things with ink. This house again is my favourite house. This I used a reference for this house. It was a weird one. I spend a lot of time obviously on Google Maps looking for houses, and this one I think was in South Korea maybe, and it was one that wasn't very like obvious. It was very far away from the road, so it wasn't the main sort of part of the street view screen cap or whatever. It was just far back from the road, and I had to really zoom in, but I just could see it from afar, and I really liked it, and I really like how it looks drawn out as well. In terms of like how I find houses on Google Street View, I might make a video on it, but I think it's kind of a weird topic to make a video on, but I think I'll at least explain some of it here. So it takes forever, I have to say that. It takes ages to find something good, and to find something, you know, that's at the right angle, that shows enough and shows what you want to see. So I guess my tricks, the first thing is it depends. If I know what kind of house I'm looking for, I kind of start here in the UK, because you can kind of, I don't know, you kind of know the area that you live in, you know your country, you know what kind of houses you can find where. So if I was looking for like modern high rise buildings, then I would go obviously into like London town. If I was looking for older, more like council flats and things like that, I might go to, I don't know, East London or something. I know for one of these, the Curse House, I was looking for like, I mean, I didn't use a reference for that like directly, but I wanted to have a look at some of those I don't know what that word is for the roofs, but like those kind of straw roof looking buildings. If you've seen the Curse House, you'll know what I mean. But I knew that they have a lot of those in, God, where was it now? Whitstable? I can't remember. At the time I was like, yeah, I definitely know that they have those houses there, but now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember where that was. Was it Whitstable? No, I don't think it was Whitstable. Ooh, it begins with a W, but I can't remember. So yeah, sorry, that's so useless. But yeah, if I know what kind of house I'm looking for, like I might go to the like Surrey countryside if I'm looking for big sort of standalone manors and whatever. And then another thing I'll do is when you go onto the map, I will put it on satellite view. So instead of just looking at the roads, you can see where there's grass, you can see where there are buildings. And that way, if you're looking for like a big building, you can spot a big building just in the shapes and like along the road. And you can see, like, if you want a building that's just standing on its own, you can see where there are buildings dotted around. If you're looking for a farm kind of building, you might go into the countryside and then see if you can find a building around there. So having it on the satellite view can be really, really helpful. And then in terms of looking at buildings in other countries, I think the more you do it, the more you kind of get to know what kind of buildings there are here and there. And then every time you do it, you kind of learn something new. So in doing this, I ended up at like this seaside resort in Australia that had these massive, massive houses, the biggest houses I've seen on Google Maps. So that's something now that if I ever want to draw a massive like sprawling house, this bit of the video is so annoying. I don't know what happened, but I started recording and it was so much fun, this bit. It was like lovely and inky and just the water and the ink running around the page. It was so fun to watch. And then I checked my camera and it hadn't been recording, so I pressed record again, feeling very fed up, and started painting again. And then I checked my camera again and it still wasn't recording, so that's why it had like jumped from one bit to another bit, and now finally it is catching the recording. But so frustrating that on the very last video it would skip that like most crucial bit, that like the most fun, the most inky, like quintessentially inky part of this whole series. It missed like a majority of it, but thankfully managed to get like the last bit of it. But yeah, as I was saying, what was I saying? Big houses in Australia. And I don't know, like if you're looking for like farmhouses, you could go, I think America's a great place to look because there are so many different houses and a lot of their houses are detached. Like here in the UK, most of our houses are like attached to each other, and that can be quite hard to draw sometimes. If you just want like the effect of one house on its own, it's hard to like separate it from the rest. So the States are good for just detached houses on their own and a variety of different houses. So you could go, I like going to places like Pennsylvania and stuff. They have really like sort of farmy houses out there. It really depends. Like if you just think about what you've seen in films in different areas, if there's like a type of architecture that you're interested in, just have a wander and sort of refer back to, I guess, what you think a place looks like. So also traveling obviously is great help as well. There was one of my drawings, I used a house or building in Portugal because I have been to Portugal and they have I think in like most Portuguese cities they have like an old town and their architecture is amazing. So I went to well, I in real life have been to Faro in Portugal, but on Google Street View I went to, I think, Lisbon, but they have an old town there as well, so it had just the kind of architecture that I was looking for. So using like my real life experiences plus, you know, like educated guesses, I was able to find a really nice old building, and like looking for sort of really like isolated and stony buildings, I might go to like Scottish islands. Looking for really modern buildings, you might go to Japan. Just kind of taking an educated guess at where you might find these types of things, and then having it on satellite view to see what kind of things you might find. Also, I have to say a great help has been just being online and having feedback from viewers. So I remember after I made it was in the 30 Ways to Fill a Sketchbook series, I did a drawing buildings episode, and I mentioned how much I really like brutalist architecture. And one of the comments that I saved and actually referred back to this time was from a woman who lived in Macedonia, I think it was Macedonia. Maybe I have it saved. My brain is like a sieve, but if I'd like take a screenshot of it, then I'm fine. But yeah, she said where she lives is like famous for its brutalist architecture, so that was a great place to have a wander around. There's a lot of stuff that I've seen there that I've kind of saved for future building drawings. And yeah, like I've had quite a few DMs on Instagram over this month of people saying, hey, draw a house where I live. The houses where I live are great. And so I've got a lot of sort of reference now for different places. But I don't know, I think it's good to just try somewhere new. Like, it's nice to go to places like America where you can sort of find all sorts of different houses, but sometimes it's nice to just have an explore in unexpected places like Macedonia, or, you know, countries that you don't typically think of like off the top of your head. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of zoom in on the map and pick a country at random. One problem with that is that some places like aren't like Google mapped really. Like there are a few countries that just aren't documented in that way, but for the most part you'll find what you're looking for, at least in like the bigger main cities. I also had a look around Georgia. That was another kind of random one. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and there's like so much time can be wasted doing that. I spend so much time just going from place to place to place, and here I'm just cutting out like a post-it note to cover up the house while I do some like splattering. I don't think I have any more tips for Google Map searching. This is why I don't think I can make a whole video on it, because I'm just kind of like, I don't know, it's not the kind of thing that you can explain. It's just something you have to do and see where you end up. But I don't think people realize just how long I do spend looking for the right house. There's no tricks to it. There's no shortcut. Well, there might be shortcuts, but I don't know about them. So I think this is more or less the end of this one. I just went in with a paintbrush to add a few more like little clusters of stars, just add a bit more kind of areas that would stand out. As you'll have seen already, these zines have arrived. They look really, really good. I'm so relieved. I was also like picking stuff up with fake nails is such a nightmare. Yeah, I was really relieved that they were okay. I was very nervous that they'd be like, I don't know, there'd be an issue with printing or something. Also really nervous that I wouldn't be home to collect the delivery, and that would just be, you know, the end of the world. But I was in. Our gate is broken, so a lot of our deliveries aren't coming through, like they'll just get sent back to the depot. But thankfully, this delivery driver rang me on my mobile to say that he was outside, so that's like the first time I've answered my mobile as well, where I don't know who it is that's calling. So everything has come together well. The plan for today is to sign and number all of them. Ozzy's coming around, so I'm gonna like enlist his help to then, I guess, he might be able to do the numbering and then I'll do the signing, and then we need to put them all in like their plastic bags and then put them in the padded envelopes. I also want to like wrap them. I've got some black tissue paper and I've made up some stickers that I'm going to use to seal them. So it's all very exciting. It's all quite a bit to do, but my favourite kind of things to do. So that is all for this Inktober series. This is the last Inktober video I'll make probably, apart from this sketchbook tour, which will be out tomorrow. Thank you all again a million times for sticking with me throughout this. Thanks for all your support. I've been so lucky to have you guys here along with me. So yeah, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.